Hi, how's it going? I just thought I would stream today with while playing games because I like to do that personally. I actually don't know if this is working. Let me know if you can't hear me properly or anything. Maybe I'm just doing really bad at this right now, but we're gonna try. So that's what we're gonna do today. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about mental health and ADHD and answer any questions that y'all might have for me, since people have a lot of questions for me, I guess, in my comment section, and I just love to answer comments about mental health and anything like that. And of course, I'm going to multitask because I can't not do that. So I'm going to play RuneScape or old school RuneScape at the same time. If anyone's ever played that, let me know. But I'd love to answer your questions if you have any questions about medication, what I'm taking, ADHD, mental health, my experience. If you want to talk about any specific topic or anything like that, I would love to. Obviously, this might be a total failure, and I'll just be talking to myself for a while, which is kind of out of my comfort zone because would mean it's a failure, and no one likes that. But yeah, just going to kind of go for it and see how I feel about it. But yeah, just gonna play my game. If anyone asks any questions, just please share those with me, and I would love to hear from y'all. Where's my chat function? You know? Okay. But yeah, I'm just going to play my game and have a good time, Have a good time. Let's see. Hello. How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I live in Washington, D.C. I'm here to talk about ADHD, mental health, things like that while I play my game. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. If you're a follower or a subscriber, that'd be really cool. But that's mostly what I'm here to talk about tonight. And yeah, if this fails, then so be it. But I just give it a shot and wanted to chat and see what's up. I actually wish they had more of a Zoom feature where you could chat back with people, but alas, I don't think that's the case. And that's okay. So yeah, so be it. Here I am. Okay, let's see. Hello. Welcome to my chat. I stumbled upon you randomly. Okay, and how does that work for you, gone fishing? I take 56 milligram concerta. Right now I used to take 32 milligrams, I think. And that worked well for a while, but it's not working. Or no, it's still working really well. I used to take 36. It didn't work as well. 41, huh? Did you just think life was like that normally and didn't realize that, because that's kind of how it was for me. I thought I knew something was wrong with me, but I didn't know what it was, and I was kind of just suffering, and I was just this is my life, But thankfully it's not just my life, and I found out that I have this disorder, and it's really been so liberating realizing that. So, but yeah, 41, I'm glad you found out. How did you figure out that what you have is ADHD? I'm just curious. I really wish there was a chatting back function. That would be really cool. In case you didn't want to type. But maybe one day, a Zoom feature or something. I know, it really is, right? I'm just going off on RuneScape right now. I don't know if anyone's ever played it, but yeah, I actually just got hacked on my gaming account. And so I'm trying to rebuild, But yeah, hope y'all are doing well tonight. But yeah, I just wanted to come in here and chat about all these different things, and I appreciate y'all commenting. It's really nice. Yeah. Oh, yikes. Did you do it with your doctor, or did you just kind of do it by yourself gone fishing? Um, yeah, I always try to like wean off medication with my doctor. I'm currently trying to wean off Lexapro for anxiety because of side effects, but I'm doing it with my doctor, and we're doing like 5 milligram at a time. But yeah, I'm sorry you went manic. I know how scary that can be. I've gone manic myself before, and it can really be frightening. What do you mean, sassafras? Oh, everything makes sense now, yeah. Got it. I'm sorry that your weaning off went poorly. That really, really sucks. Um, yeah, hopefully nothing goes too wrong with me weaning off my anxiety medicine. Yeah, and sassafras, everything does make more sense now. Like, even just, like, I have echolalia or tics with talking, so I'll repeat certain phrases over and over and over again. Um, like, right now I really like the word personally, so I'll be like, personally, I'm going to the store. Or, personally, I don't want to do that. I have to do anything my husband says, and he's just not having it anymore, so it's great. It pisses him off, but I, like, repeat certain words, and that, I didn't realize that was a thing, or like I didn't know why until I found out I had ADHD, and I found out it's common for people with ADHD and autism. And gone fishing, I'm so sorry to hear about the bipolar. I'd actually love to know how lithium is working for you. My sister is actually currently in the middle of a psychotic break. My little sister, it's really like hard. And she has bipolar, and she also just got diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, but we're trying to figure out the right medication for her, and she hates taking medication because first of all she thinks that they're like from the government or something and they're coming for her, but she struggles with the sleepiness that affects her with the medication. So I don't know if you've had a good experience with lithium. I'd love to know that, just because in helping my sister's care. But yeah, I know. Do you have echolalia, sassafras? Like, I know I love to repeat phrases, and that's just so like funny and weird that other people experience that as well. No, yeah, my sister, I think hers was like bipolar too, because it was like it was caused because she was smoking so much weed. So it's similar. Like, people say like weed isn't a dangerous substance and you can't get addicted to it, but I would say it definitely can ruin people's lives, for certain people that just have a hard time. Some people can smoke it and be totally fine, but I know that for other people it can just wreck their life, like my little sister right now, which is really hard. Yeah. Ooh, the main idea and my final ponderings. I feel like my final ponderings would be a really good one to annoy my husband. Like, if he asks me, when are you going to do the dishes? I'm like, well, according to my final ponderings, I'm not going to do them today. And he's just going to lose it. It's going to be hilarious. And gone fishing, how did you manage to, like, stabilize? Did you have to stop smoking weed, or was it hard for you to get on medication? Just, again, like, my family's going through a lot right now with my little sister, so yeah, that's tough, dude. That's tough. Like, yeah, that's tough. Thankfully, like, I had one bipolar 2 episode, so I don't know if I would be diagnosed with bipolar 2, but I had it once where I went manic. But thankfully it hasn't happened again. And now I'm sober completely, so that has been different. But I really like my final ponderings. I'm going to try to use it throughout this stream, and maybe you'll get annoyed enough so that you stop using it. Okay, yeah, I bet. And the temptation must still be there, just because I totally get why people use substances, because I used substances for a long time, and they help with certain things, definitely. So yeah, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. Over a year, that's really great. I've been sober off alcohol for 3 years. And I don't smoke weed or anything like that. And that has really helped my mental health, obviously, and my ADHD, because I just don't deal with the downsides of doing those things, I guess, But I am jealous of people who like might have ADHD or different things and don't have those issues. But it really is so common. Like a lot of people with ADHD also will have addiction issues or depression or anxiety or all of these different things. And I really wish I knew that before, because I don't know, it's just, and I feel like psychiatrists should realize this more often and think about it more often. Like when they're assessing someone, they're like, oh, she has depression, anxiety, and this. Like maybe she has ADHD. I should test her for that. And like I would have been found out a lot earlier that I had that, you know? So yeah, I think it's really interesting. Yeah, same here, gone fishing. Like, same here. I'm really just so lucky that I stopped drinking because it was wrecking my life. Like, I have 3 tattoos that I shouldn't have gotten because I was like not well when I got them. But they're so, like, it's funny and it's a good memory at this point. Like, there's nothing I can do about it, right? So what am I gonna do about it? You know, just gonna move on. But it really is such a blessing that we have been able to find sobriety, I guess, at least for us. Other people might not have this issue, and kind of try to get our lives together. I hope life's improved for you somewhat. Oh, me too. Me too. It was blackout every night. I almost lost my job. I almost lost everything in my life. I just really hope and pray that my little sister can have the same experience as me and you. I should. I'll show you in a minute. But I really hope that my little sister is able to get sober and become well enough and like her symptoms managed well enough to be able to take medication on her own without suspicion, because nobody knows how hard this situation is unless you've experienced it yourself or you have a family member that's experienced it, and it's really just so devastating. And I'm so glad that I helped myself and I managed my anxiety and my depression, because I feel like this would all be so much more stressful for me. Okay, tattoos. So this one here, let's see if you can see it, says, "Keep me wild." And it has a pretty good placement, but again, it says "keep me wild." So there you go. And then there's this little heart here that I paid like $300 for. Because I was blacked out and they were like $300, and I was like, that makes sense to me. You can't even see it because I got scammed. And then I have a little moon on my ankle. So very basic tattoos. Found them on Pinterest. Great time. I got them all with my best friend. We made some great decisions together. It was awesome. Proud of myself. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. I'm glad that the military VA is paying for your medication. My sister's been in a psych ward for a month and a half now. She gets released in the 18th, and she's been on lithium, but she's also been on like Depakote, Risperdal, Zyprexa, and they're just trying to find one that works well for her. And hopefully she's able to find the right medication, because right now she's just hallucinatory, and she's experiencing delusions that stop her from taking the medication. Like the delusions tell her that the medication is poison, or people are trying to poison her, you know, so that she won't take them. So hopefully we can get her to a point where she's able to take them and be safe. But yeah, things are very expensive. So I'm not excited to see the bill. I actually had a dream about her bill coming and being like really stressed out about it. But alas, that was just a dream, right? I wish like my channel had like more brighter things to talk about. I feel like everything on my channel is so dark sometimes. Poos, what did you think about my tattoos? Funny, huh? Like all of them are nonsense. It's pretty great. But what you gonna do about it? You know? It's okay. We all make mistakes. Yeah, no, for real. Where are you guys located? If you don't mind me asking, I'd love to know. You know? Let's see. Yeah, for sure. That's good to know. Ooh, Florida. That's awesome. I love Florida. I love a good trip there. Don't worry. Okay, that's true. No, no kids. I don't have any kids. I'm 27 years old, just not the right time for me yet. Ooh, lots of Floridians here. But yeah, my sister, they try to put her on chlorazepine or something like that, but we have to take a blood test every week. And there's no way she's going to do that because she's paranoid that doctors are like from the devil or something, so there's no way in hell she's going to take that well enough. So yeah, just hoping she's going to get released soon, and I'll see her for Thanksgiving, and I'm just hoping that she's well enough to, have a decent time. You're 38. Nice. Very cool. And you got diagnosed when? Did you tell me? No, you didn't tell me. But that's cool. Yeah, I feel like a lot of my commenters are people that are a little bit older, who I guess found my channel because they had been diagnosed a little late. So that's just really interesting, because, yeah, I guess we just don't get diagnosed early. I would love to hear from people who got diagnosed as a child and were on medication as children, and how that medication affected them, because I sometimes get comments of people being like, don't take medications, it ruined my life as a kid. And that's just not the reality for me. They've helped me so much, so I just love to hear from more kids who experienced that or had a good experience or anything else like that, because I've just had such a good experience on medication. So, yeah, wow, that's a diagnosis a long time ago. Do you still think about ADHD as every part of your life? Thank you so much for coming, Sassafras. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just want to talk about mental health. I feel like there's not really a space where people are really open about it. What has helped me be healthy has been being really open about it, I guess, which is why I just talk about all of these things online, because I feel really alone sometimes when dealing with things like my sister, or when I was dealing with OCD, or just even the stigma around taking medication. And so I feel like talking about it allows people to find a place, if they are Googling, what if I don't want to take a medication or something, they're able to find me, a person who's talking about it so candidly, and are able to get the help that they need, so it's just nice being able to provide that, I don't know who Sophia55 is. That a YouTube channel or something else? Because I'd love to hear from other people that are chatting about these kinds of things, It is interesting. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really appreciate you guys watching. This has actually been quite successful compared to what I was worried I was just going to be sitting here alone playing my game, which is fine, but wow, that's really tough. Do you feel like there was an event that happened in your life at that time that increased your stress? Did it happen around money issues or life issues, or is it just totally random? I'm just curious. And that's interesting that it happened at 37, because a lot of people's this kinds of mental health issues starts when they're in their early 20s. I have a little, I'm actually not doing anything right now because now I'm talking and I'm getting distracted, but I should probably do something. I just got hacked, so I lost half my bank, everything that was in it. So I have to rebuild now. All of my stuff's gone. It's great. I'm super excited about it. But yeah, but my anxiety meds and my therapy allowed me to not get pissed off, because other people I feel would have lost their shit, after years and years of content that they've acquired, disappears. I'm pretty calm right now, given what has happened. But yeah, so I'm just chilling, just chilling. But yeah, delusions are so scary. I'm just hoping oh, it's okay. No worries at all. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, elections can be tough. I'm glad we just finished the last one. Yeah, that can be tough. I feel like our whole society was really affected by everything that was going on around that election. Like, there's just been so much at stake these past few years since I feel like when I first got involved in this stuff. And like, because I work in politics and I know how stressful it can be. I've had to learn how to separate the two things because I literally work on politics 8 hours a day, and being able to disconnect from that after work was really hard for a long time, but I've kind of managed it. And yes, I am on anxiety, ADHD, depression, and sleep meds, which is kind of crazy, but it works for me and I'm very happy. So I'm going to continue taking them because taking the medications, I don't really have any side effects, thankfully, and taking all those medications is much better than my life without it. So I take Lexapro, which I'm currently trying to wean off of. I take depression medicine. I take quetiapine, which helps me to sleep. It's a non-addictive like downer that helps you sleep because, again, I'm an addict, so I don't want to take any super addictive things. And then I take my concerta. And yeah, I'm just really thankful that those all work for me and that they're working well together, because I know a lot of people have side effects to different medications. Like my little brother, he had a really bad side effect to Lexapro and he just won't take those anymore. But yeah, I'm kind of like open to decreasing and increasing things, but right now, like, I'm going through a really hard and like traumatic time in my life. My dad has pancreatic cancer, and if you've seen my previous videos, you know I've been in California for the past for 6 months this year. And so I just feel like it would be irresponsible to try to get off my depression meds and my anxiety meds right now when I'm going through something so difficult, because I'm worried that like I would fall into a depressive episode or into an anxiety episode and maybe drink again and just ruin everything, you know? Yeah. Wow, that's really tough. Gone fishing. Weird. Yeah, no, I feel like a lot of people got caught up in that, you know, and I feel like it is really easy to get caught up into that type of stuff, because I feel like we were all dealing with a lot of problems in society at the time, and we were looking for somewhere to lay the blame. And so we were, like looking for answers and a community, and some of us found that in different places. And I feel like it's easy to find it somewhere that it can be like that. It might be a community, but they're all interested in conspiracy theories, and you find people you relate to that kind of parrot your beliefs or your thoughts, and then you feel at home and like you have a community which can help when people are feeling stressed out or lonely or whatever. So I feel like a lot of people fell into that, which is really scary. But I'm glad you were able to pull yourself out of it, because that's a huge thing that's happening in this country right now, I think. And Omar, I take concerta for my ADHD, and then I take Wellbutrin for depression, Lexapro for anxiety, and then I guess Gone Fishing has written down their stuff. You know, I do actually wonder, Gone Fishing, like, there are so many people that believe in these really wild conspiracy theories now, and they believe them to their core. And I'm just like, at what point is it a mental illness versus like just like someone's belief systems? You know? Because, like, I don't know. I've just started thinking about that, you know? Because, like, people's are so affected by it where it starts consuming their whole life and everything in their belief system. And I'm like, at what point is this person, like, a paranoid schizophrenic or, like, unwell, you know? Versus this is just their belief system, you know? So I don't know. That's just something I was thinking about recently. I wonder if anyone else has like written studies about it or written about it at least. Yeah, Gone Fishing. I love concerta. You just take it once a day. Adderall, do you have to take it more than once a day? That's my question. But yeah, I don't know if y'all have any thoughts on what I just said, like the whole the line between mental illness and just like beliefs when it comes to conspiracy theories and stuff. Because, yeah, I'm just curious. I'm going to Google that later, actually, to see what other people are thinking about it. Because, yeah, I just think it's an interesting idea. Is that question for me, Poos? I tried Prozac, but I was still drinking at the time, so it wasn't working, and I was just having really bad tremors. So I had to stop taking that. And then I got on Wellbutrin once I got sober. And yeah, I had clinical major depression, and it was very debilitating, lots of like suicidal ideation, self-harm, things like that. And I don't know how to describe it, but over the course of a few months and therapy, my life just got like so much better. Like I just woke up in the morning and I didn't have those same thoughts or feelings and such. So yeah, I don't know, they just worked for me. They helped me. Like I always thought like I'm the most depressed person out there. No one understands what I'm going through. I'm all alone. Like people just don't get it. No one can help me because I'm like my life is just so hard. And it turns out like I'm not special. A lot of other people have illnesses that have been helped by medication or therapy. And I'm glad that I finally got over that hump that I was like, nothing can help me. Because when I went to go try out the things that people were helping other people, I was able to find something that helped me. And like sometimes I miss the chaos and the like that crazy feeling that you have when you're unwell. But life is really so much better now that I'm not depressed and not anxious and such. Like I've had so many blessings in life. Yeah, I feel like, what is that making me think of? That's making me think of like mania, gone fishing. Yeah, it's making me think of mania, which is interesting. Yeah, I've only had mania that was like induced after a lot of substance abuse. And mine was more like risky actions, moving really quickly, not sleeping, just things like that. Yeah, for sure. Gone fishing. How do you feel you got out of that situation? Like what finally helped you to, help yourself, I guess, or rescue yourself? What would you say? I'm just curious. Because I just know how hard it can be to get the motivation to feel better, especially when your reality is so different to other people's, and they're telling you to just do something like go to therapy or take your medication or stop thinking that, and it's much harder to do that than just like saying it. So yeah, and it can be also hard to stop thinking like crazy thoughts if you're around other people who are parroting those things back at you. Like if you were, yeah. Got it. Okay. And what helped you while you were in the hospital? Were you going to group, or was it just like medication? Was group helping you? Because like again, my sister's been in the hospital for a month and a half now, and she's just gotten worse. She's just gotten violent, and yeah, it hasn't been good. And she hasn't gone to any therapy, So that's really tough. Like these things are really so hard to deal with, and like especially the way it affects our families, can be so like traumatic for everyone involved. Yeah, and I just wish there was more, like less stigma about it. I still learn things every day with my sister. Like I have access to her medical records, and so I check on it every day to see what she's doing, to see how she's reacting, and just like nobody understands what it's like to be caring for someone who's this sick, It's just tough. Everything's gonna be fine though, potentially. But yeah, I am curious about people's experiences and stuff. Like I really, I don't know if you've noticed, but I answer like every comment that I get just because it really is important to me to hear other people's experiences. Like overall, mine has been very good. Like it was hard getting started. Like, it was hard to realize that I needed to get rehab and stop drinking at the age of 23. Because, like, yeah, that was fucking hard, you know? Yeah, it was hard. But yeah, okay, I see. And do they put you on lithium immediately? Yeah, 'cause my sister's been in there for a month and a half, and nothing has worked for her. Like, she's been on so many different medications, and it's just like, I don't know. But her stuff is deep. She has so many other issues that are contributing to her illness. Like, she also is an addict. She has PTSD. She has OCD. So yeah, I think our youth are having more mental problems nowadays in general. I don't know, like, the biology behind mental health problems, but I guess what we see often is, like, women crying, women having all these emotions and things like that. I don't know if it's science, but I feel like more women that I know deal with mental health issues than men. But that might only be because I have more women friends who talk to me about these things, you know? Or maybe women are more likely to ask for help because men are encouraged to, like, hide their feelings and not talk about their feelings or get help and just man up, you know? Which I think is really unhealthy, because if we don't get help and get better, we're going to repeat these, like, the way that we are with our children and other such, you know? And we just pass all those bad things on to the next generation and such. So I feel like it's really important for men to also get help, you know, even though our society is kind of like, you're not a man if you have illness or whatever. But I do think that, yeah, I think that our youth are going to be experiencing greater amounts of mental health issues just because the exposure to things that they have online nowadays is just insane. Like, you are constantly exposed to horrible news all day, you know? And I was exposed to really wild things on the internet as a child, but even more now, our youth are exposed to different things. But I think the internet can also be good because they're able to discover that they're not alone early on, or earlier than we did, I guess, because they can see other people's experiences online and relate to them. And thank you, Gone Fishing. Yeah, we have, like, she has a very strong support system. Like, it's extremely strong. Yeah. It's really, yeah, she has a really strong support system, and that's really important. It's just, she's just so erratic given her mental health issues and her paranoid schizophrenia that she just cannot even listen to reason. So I don't know what's going to have to happen with her. We're at a loss, honestly, at this point, my family. It's been like 3 years. Yeah, I'm sorry, Poos. Are you a woman or a man? It is something I would watch out with in your family members and such, especially if you have something yourself. Like, I know if I ever have kids, which I do not plan to have kids, I would definitely keep an eye on, you know, how they're developing, trying to ensure if they have a traumatic experience that they are receiving help immediately so that they are able to get the social support they need so as to not become traumatized long term, you know? But, you know, it happens to boys too, and I'm worried about my little brother right now because he's right at the age where like, men start developing severe mental health issues such as schizophrenia and stuff. And my little brother has a lot of health anxiety right now, like hypochondria basically, and so I have my eye on him, and I, like, whenever he says anything crazy to me, I'm like, listen, like, go talk to your therapist about that now, because we all know what happened in our family and everything that's going on in our family, and you need to take care of yourself and be proactive to ensure that, like, we don't end up in a situation like Rebecca with you. He has a good head on his shoulder, but again, he's young and at the right age for these things to really affect him. So just trying to make sure he has the support he needs to get the help he needs so nothing gets worse. Ashlyn, yeah, I would definitely look into it. If you're in America, go to ZocDoc.com and you can find a website that will help you find like a doctor in your area that's going to help you like sooner rather than later. Because I know wait times can be so long, especially in America. But yeah, sometimes like you get to the point where you cannot keep living like it. Like with ADHD, at least with me, like I did not have the energy to get help for myself until I got to a point where I was like, there's no other option. I have to help myself. You know, like there's nothing else I can do. And it took a while, but like, yeah, you know, and you can do it. You can even do it right now. You don't have to do it tomorrow. You go to ZocDoc.com right now, create a little account, book an appointment, you know? And yeah, it's just life-changing, you know? Yeah, I know, gone fishing. No, she has been in a constant state of psychosis for a year now. So it's not even like symptoms of schizophrenia starting. Like, they're full-blown. She's had schizophrenic symptoms like constantly for a year now. So it's just kind of like managing those, lessening them if we can, and just trying to keep her from engaging in any really worrisome or things that can traumatize their behavior, because we all know that like people with these illnesses engage in behavior that can often traumatize them. Yeah, no, gone fishing. I know. I try to tell her she doesn't have to take her medications, but she's like, yeah, no, the government put petroleum in them, and if I take those, I'm gonna die, and you're gonna die probably actually, because the petroleum's gonna touch you, and then you're gonna die. You know, so it's really hard, especially with someone who's that sick. It's just so hard. But yeah, I mean, it was important to like be kind to other people, and you know, if anyone needs help, like what I like to do again is to share my story. And be like, yeah, yes, exactly. That's so right. Like, I feel so blessed that I was able to come out of what my health issues were, because I feel like I've had almost everything. And being able to talk about it and help other people, you know, has been really important. But yeah, like, again, men can experience these things too. I would definitely Google things like when you're in your early 20s, either as a man or a woman, that's when you are more, like, most likely to develop one of these really tough mental health issues. Hi, Ashlyn. Yes, so I did go to school after high school. I got my bachelor's degree. I did really struggle in school, and honestly, I shouldn't have gotten the grades to get to college. My dad basically strong-armed our teachers into giving us the grades. Like, I don't know any math. And I was able to like finesse school by figuring out tactics to keep myself doing well enough to continue to succeed. You know, like I am a really good writer, you know. I have a terrible memory, but I was able to learn enough tactics to do well even in college, because I just learned which professors were the easiest. I learned how to what's it called when you rewrite things? I forget what it's called, but like when you copy something and then paste it into your essay and then you just rewrite the words, like I just figured out tactics to make sure I did well enough in school. Like I was just paraphrasing, kind of? Yeah, I think so. I was plagiarizing, basically. But I would change the words so that they looked like my own and wouldn't get caught. Rephrase, yeah. And so I don't think I should have like I know I'm very intelligent, but I just was never good at school, and I had to find out ways to survive. And I feel like that's what happened with a lot of people who, but I'm really the only reason I got to university was because my dad basically bullied people into he did that with all of us. We're all stupid, my siblings and I. No, we're smart, we're just bad at school because we all have ADHD. But yeah, that's kind of what happened, but I know a lot of people, like, they don't have a dad who is cheating with school. So I know a lot of people struggling with that. Dude, I love RuneScape. I keep getting distracted and not playing. I just got hacked. It's not great. Hypersexuality is a really big thing, especially, or like sexual issues is a really big thing with ADHD, trauma, OCD, depression. And especially if you're on all these medications, they're going to affect your sexuality and such. So it's really interesting. I'm kind of like shy about talking about sexuality and sex, but like it is such an important topic, especially when talking about mental health and stuff. So hopefully I get more comfortable talking about those things. But yeah, right now I'm kind of like, I don't know how much I'm talking about things, but yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, dude, the mind is wild. Like, mind is wild. I just like I remember one time I thought I got poisoned by acid, and I crossed the city to my best friend because I was certain I was going to die that night because I had poisoned myself with acid. Like, or time travel, or thinking like the government is specifically after you, a nobody who doesn't do anything, you know? It's just very interesting. Yeah, Ashlyn, what do you feel you struggle with most in school? For me, it was definitely being unable to pay attention in time, or being unable to concentrate, being unable to recall things, being unable to, I don't know, everything. Like, I never struggled with turning in things late because I feel like that was one of my survival mechanisms, which was, you might fuck up the assignment, but you're at least going to get it on time. And so for some reason that worked for me. But I know a lot of other people struggle with getting things done on time. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, I feel that. Ashlyn, like, I guess like Robert brings up a good point. Are you studying something, Ashlyn, that like you're interested in, or is it more something that like you're doing it for money or something? Like, for example, I was really interested in physics, suck at math, could not do that. But I found out that I really love politics, and so once I started studying politics, things became a little bit easier for me because I was actually interested in the source material, you know? Yeah, for sure. Ashlyn, I have to type down literally everything my professor says word for word, or else I will not recall anything. So yeah, we all have different ways to survive. Robert, I'm so glad that you found that you love electrical engineering. That is a great thing to love, both financially and just generally. Yeah. Yeah, you know, I always thought like ADHD was just a hyperactive, like physical thing, but when your mind is racing that much and then you're getting exhausted and fatigued because of everything that's happening in your brain, that can be like really tiring, and people don't think about ADHD in that way. And that's interesting, Poos. Yeah, I feel like that's a whole different topic for another time that can be involved in this, like affects this. Yeah, I think it just depends on different cultures. Like, different cultures, early marriage is normal. I got married really early, but mine was like a unique experience where we wanted to continue dating, and he was from a different country, so we just got married so we could continue dating. It ended up working out. But yeah, it's interesting. Wow, Ashlyn, that's really interesting. Social work and behavioral therapy. Why do you think you went into that? Is it because of your experiences? Okay. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have these undiagnosed learning disabilities like dyslexia, or there's something called apraxia, which I think my cousin has, that like people just miss, you know, it's so hard. Hi Caspers, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you being here. I hope people are able to answer your question. I am on medication, but I did a CBT for years before I got on medication. CBT mostly helped me with my depression, anxiety, and other like PTSD. So if you have any of those things, I would 100% recommend you try CBT. I still do CBT because it still helps me in everyday life. And I will continue to do it because medication can only help so much, and it doesn't create behavior change in its own, but CBT does create behavior change. So that's a really special thing. Ashlyn, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's really tough. I'm really sorry to hear that. That can really upset, like, unfortunately, when things happen at that age in your childhood, like, your life and on will be affected in a really tough way. So I feel like it's important to get help for those situations that you might not feel like are affecting you now, but probably are affecting you. Mm-hmm. Good to know, Robert. I hope, Casper, I hope that helped you. I also take a lot of things, like I take this drink called Magic Mind. They actually sponsor me for different videos, but I've been taking it for a long time. And the reason I agreed to collaborate with them is because their product has L-theanine in it, curcumin, lion's mane mushroom, ashwagandha, just all of these things that I used to take before I got on medication to help myself because I didn't know what was wrong. And they did help me, and studies have shown that they help. And yeah, and I take curcumin myself. I have like a big thing of just curcumin that I just scoop into water and I drink it. So just anything that like medically, like according to studies, says it's supposed to help you cognitively, I'm always down to try it out, especially before I got on meds. Yeah. No, Tasty Bev, I completely agree. Meds and therapy was what saved me, like 100%. And it can be so hard to talk about those personal things that you've hidden from people for years, but it really is life-changing, you know? Yeah, gone fishing, I know. Sometimes I miss alcohol so much, and I'm just like, girl, what I would not do for a little glass of wine or a bottle or two, but you know what? I do not miss hallucinating mice, my criminal charge, ruining my relationship with my family, losing my job. Don't miss that stuff, you know? So when I weigh the pros and cons, and like, should I relapse? Should I not? I'm like, let's not do that. Got it, Caspers. Would you mind telling us what you're on and what dosage? It's just interesting to hear. But I feel like sometimes people have to try different medications before they find the right one. And so I think that's important to consider or be open to. And then just also like thinking about whether you have depression or had depression before you got diagnosed with ADHD. And okay, where are you located? You're in Europe somewhere, maybe like Scandinavia. It will impact, yeah, it'll impact, okay. And did the meds help you? Because I feel like medication can definitely create these side effects, but if there's something that you can do also, or if you feel like you might be experiencing that or things like within you without the medication anyway, like it might be worth looking into and resolving, you know? Got it, Latvia. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, I would definitely talk to your doctor before you change anything. Tell them about the depression, and hopefully they're able to advise you on what to do. If the medication helped you before, it might be worth getting back on it. I used to be really against taking a lot of medication, but what I have found is that my happiness and welfare is so much better with medication. And I've learned to accept that sometimes people, like the chemicals in my brain just aren't producing the right amount as normal people. So I have to accept that I have to take these medications to make myself feel better and feel well enough. So I'm just gonna take them, you know? Yeah, and I would definitely talk to your doctor about whether you're not supposed to take things every day. Some medications you have to take every day for them to be effective. Mine doesn't, but sometimes it does. Hi, procrastinator. Maybe your name is Kristen. I'm just gonna make a guess there. Oh, gone fishing, that's so tough. Paranoia can be so hard. So I feel that completely. Yeah, Casper, like our mental health can really just wreck everything for us. We'll be losing our jobs, losing our friends, losing our family, losing our house, losing, you know, and it's really hard to get help for those things, but it's so important to be able to. That's right, gone fishing. And it took me 2 years to find my ADHD diagnosis, and by then I had literally resolved my alcoholism, my PTSD, which was really hard to resolve, my depression, my anxiety, and my OCD. And then I got to the ADHD. And now I'm on ADHD medicine, and I don't have any other side effects, and I don't know why that is, but it might be also because I dealt and resolved all the other things, you know? So it's harder for medication to cause anxiety or depression in me because I've had CBT and learned how to stop those things from getting too bad, if that makes sense. So I agree with that on fishing. Hi, Ashlyn. Yeah, no, we definitely help some people, you know, like, it was never for me because it made me really anxious, but, like, for the people that it does help, like, that's great for you, but I also know, like, it's important to know that it affects people differently. Like, for example, my sister, who has been in the psych ward for a month and a half right now, and another person here was, like, heavily dependent on them, and it caused them to go into psychosis, so it really affects everyone so differently. And, like, I know alcohol, some people can drink alcohol normally, I can't, and I know that. But I'm happy that they can enjoy it, you know? Yeah. Does Vyvanse affect people's skin hard? Yeah. Is Vyvanse, like, affecting your skin? Are you, like, breaking out or anything, Poos? I didn't know that that was a side effect of it. I recently started, oh, by the way, before you change your medication or add any kind of vitamins or herbs or any shit like that, talk to your doctor because things can affect each other. So I know we're all having a good discussion here, but it's important to talk with your doctors before you change anything. Someone DM'd me about Magic Mind and talking about how it affects people. It can affect your medication. So definitely include that in the next video that I posted about, you know, it affecting your health. Yeah, tasty, but it makes me paranoid too, dude. I don't know. That's true. Definitely get your drugs from, like, a good place. I'm gonna get demonetized. Definitely get your, like, stuff from, like, a good place if you can, you know? Like, I'm not gonna make alcohol on my toilet, you know, maybe unless I'm in prison and I want to relapse there. But, you know, I'm gonna get it somewhere safe, you know, if I do relapse, which I'm not going to, right? It's been 3 years. Yeah, Ashlyn, I'm glad for you, because alcohol is a bitch, you know? Personally, not a fan. Not anymore. But my husband can drink it totally normally, and it's just like, he'll just be, like, fucked up next to me, and I'm like, I'm having a really tough day today. Our country is falling apart, and you're just enjoying yourself there, and I am stuck here with my feelings and my jewel. So it can be hard to be sober and suffering because you have to just sit with your emotions, which is why I've done so much therapy, because then I can survive easier. Yeah, Ashlyn, I do not know. And people were always like, you're smoking the wrong kind of weed. And I was like, girl, no, any kind of weed has got me fucked up. Literally any kind. I say ha 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 ha, or LMAO, or just lol, I guess. Good question, though. It's important. Good question. That's like a little nicer thing to talk about here than what we've all been talking about tonight. But the stuff we've been talking about tonight is important, and I hope that y'all have learned something from each other, and just in general. So, yeah. I don't know. Probably have to go look at this. No, I haven't. What's that about? I'm going to look it up. Yes, I procrastinate on things I do not want to do. On things I want to do, I will do it immediately. That's really as simply as I can put it. If my husband's like, can you clean up the litter? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it later. And then I won't do it for 3 days, and then he'll lose it on me on day 3, and then I'll do it and be pissed off about being yelled at. But like, if I really want to like clean the kitchen right then, I'll do it and be like, I had a great time doing that, you know? So it really depends on what I want to do. I don't mind. Yeah, dude. Damn, like, you clean up the litter. Like, if you're so bothered by it, like, you clean it up, you know? John, I feel fine with my husband drinking around me. I know a lot of people don't feel comfortable with people drinking around them. But I always felt fine with it I was triggered by it a lot earlier on in my sobriety, but now I just like really don't care. Sometimes I'll go, ooh, that looks good, or I wish I could have one, but not enough to actually do it. Personally, it doesn't trigger me, and I think that is also because I think I resolved the thing that was making me drink. Like the deep down secret that I had, that I won't ever discuss here, but like the deep down secret that I had that I think was my biggest trauma or whatever, that could have possibly caused me to have these mental health issues and drink, I resolved that thing in PTSD therapy. Like I told someone my deepest, darkest secret, and whatever the shame brought me or the embarrassment or the guilt, like I was able to work through that and resolve it to a point that I'm not so constantly in pain that I need to drink. So I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but yeah, I don't get bothered if my husband's drinking in front of me. Like it can be nice when he's drinking in front of me because he'll get silly or whatever. I don't get silly, I'll hit someone, so I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, so it really varies with different people. Like again, gone fishing, couldn't be around people drinking. Like I will have an NA beer nowadays. It's just, I don't get affected by it as much. I'm a Cancer, but I don't believe in zodiac signs, or I don't really know much about them. So maybe they're real, I don't know. Yeah, Caspers, I feel like, I don't know if that would work for everyone, but I feel like what did help me to really stay away from alcohol was not being in so much pain over that deep, dark trauma secret. Because it wasn't just mine anymore. It was like other people had held on to it and known about it and told me it was okay and such. And something I think that also helped me with that was in AA, doing the 4th step, which is like admitting to someone else all of your wrongdoings and apologizing for them, I think that's the next one. But like having to write down all the horrible things I did to people, and like not just because, like, for example, my ex-boyfriend, he actually died from alcoholism, and I used to always blame him for my feelings on a relationship without ever looking at my own part in it. But when I did the 4th step, I was really forced to just like acknowledge that I had taken a huge part in the issues that ended up causing me so much depression and trauma. And being able to own things that you've done to people and acknowledge them and mention them to another person was changed everything for me, because I don't have to hold on to guilt anymore. Even nowadays, I'll still do mean stuff to people every once in a while, but like I can admit I was wrong and apologize and move on, So I think resolving your trauma or resolving that horrible thing that you did, and mine wasn't something that happened to me, mine was something I did. So it was a lot of guilt that I always carried around, and I had to forgive myself. So that was really hard. But I'm so glad I did it, because now it's easier not to drown my sorrows with alcohol. But yeah, I don't know enough about zodiac signs. I'm a Cancer. I don't even know what my husband's is. But once in a while, I'll check my chart. Like if I get like an ad, I'll click on it and be like, wow, today I'm gonna have a good day because this thing said so. Even though that might not be true. Yeah, Caspers, it's hard, but I think like if we all, once we're ready to do it, we can look inside ourselves and just go for it. And it was really so liberating, And sometimes I think because I resolved that thing, I can drink again. But then I realize that I still have some dark, deep thing that's in pain that I have just learned to manage and I'm not embarrassed about, that I know that if I drank again, I would again go from 1 drink to 100, because there's still something in me, even though I've resolved most of it, that I know like loves nothing, which is what alcohol brings, like the blackout, So I just don't let myself start drinking, Hopefully I never relapse my life is so much better now. Like, I'm just so grateful, and it's really great. Dude, yeah, gone fishing. Oh my god, I drank a whole bottle of mouthwash one time, and then I found, like, once I finished it, I realized it was non-alcoholic. It was not good. It was not it. Yeah, no, Ashley, you're totally right. I always try to fit what my, all that stuff. But yeah, gone fishing. We do some wild stuff when we're struggling. We do some wild stuff. Yeah, procrastinator. It really does. The only time I contact my friends is if I'm driving in the car and I'll put FaceTime on, like while I'm like on my phone. I will not contact anyone. Like last year, right, like when I got diagnosed, I had a friend reach out to me and be like, hey, you need to be a better friend because you haven't contacted me. You weren't there for me in my hard times, and I've always been there for you. And that was really hard because she was totally right. I had not kept up with her, and I was being a horrible friend, and fair, you win. It still affects my ability to maintain friendships, but now that I'm medicated and I've had CBT and made some behavior change, I am able to be better at friendships. Like, I'll be in my car and I won't want to chat with anyone. But then I'm on medication, so I'm a little bit more motivated, and I'm like, okay, I need to do this. And so I don't know, my medication kind of helps me just do the thing, which is talk to my friends and such. Ashlyn, I like to say that I like to help people, and I just want to share my story, and that sharing traumatic experiences and receiving social support back, in comments and stuff, makes something traumatic less likely to be traumatic. But I also just like attention, honestly. I just like talking about myself and all the hard shit I've gone through because it's so hard and special, but it's not. So honestly, I used to be really shy making YouTube videos and I wouldn't talk about myself, but I found that talking about my hard experiences helped me feel better because I was helping other people, and I was able to talk and say things that I had been so afraid of saying. To anybody, and now I can just say these things to anyone, and it's really been liberating. So I don't know, but yeah, I just on my Instagram, I'm today I had a really hard day. My dad is really unwell. I want to die. I'll post things like that on my Instagram, and everyone's like, what the fuck? But I just like to talk about my feelings online. I don't know. Again, I don't have many friends where I live. All my friends live in California. So y'all are my friends. The internet's my friend. That's where I'll vent. Yeah, Pooh, seriously. Yeah, it does help being vulnerable. Ashley, you just have to go for it. My first videos were really awkward and shy, but then I felt weird, no one was going to watch my videos, and no one did for a long time, but as you do it more and more, you just get more comfortable naturally, and just record what you want, a lot of people are here for my ADHD videos, some people are here for my finance videos, but if I'm going to record myself sitting on the couch or going to the fair that day, that's what I'm going to record. And I do YouTube mostly for myself and for my own happiness. So it's important to do it for yourself and for your own happiness as a hobby, Ashlyn, I think. Yeah, gone fishing. I cannot keep it in check either. The last time I drank, it was a bottle of Jim Beam straight, and I was out within 10 minutes. I wasn't drinking until a good time. Yeah, and I also just want to show my RuneScape bank. I actually don't want to show my RuneScape bank because I got hacked 3 hours ago, and my bank is now down to 8 mil when it was 400 mil 3 hours ago, so I got hacked. But I like that Casper's, that's true. Yeah, personally, anxiety meds really helped me, but CBT helped too. I think anxiety meds can help you because scientifically they contain chemicals in them that will affect your brain in a certain way, and create those chemicals in your brain. So like I think they can help. It just depends what you're on and what different medication you're taking and such. Sometimes they're not going to help anyone. Like they affected my brother in a bad way, but they helped me. That's interesting. Gone fishing. Yeah, and antidepressants and sleeping meds will also not work when you're drinking a lot. So it's important to keep those things in check so that we don't end up in bipolar or psychosis, you know? Yeah, Johan, that's exactly the scary thing, you know? Like, it's so easy to tell yourself, like, I'm better now, I've resolved the drinking. But like I said before, I know that deep down there's still something in me that wants to not be here because of everything that I've experienced. And I know that if I was to drink again, that's what I would do. I would try to make it so I'm not here anymore, which is really dark, but also it's just the reality. And so I know I can't ever drink again. If I ever tell anyone I can't drink again, I'm just creating an excuse for myself to drink. Oh my god, who's talking shit on California? I love California. I'm from there. Beautiful weather, yes. Robert, my husband was actually on sertraline one time, and he says it made him crazy. But also, my husband is the most mentally health, good mental health ever that I've ever met in a person. It's very unnatural, so he probably just didn't eat sertraline. But I haven't had Zoloft or sertraline. My best friend's on Zoloft. She's doing well on it. Damn, the porn bots came for real, dude. Let me see if I can get rid of them. Listen, if anyone's looking for love, just click on this. Maybe you'll find something, but you know, you probably won't. That's so true, Ashlyn. Okay, I'm gonna hide this user and see if that does anything. Okay. Yeah, Johan. I hope Girls69XYZ gives you everything you need. You know? Yeah, Tasty Bout, I do want to discuss emotional numbing. I actually went through a period with my therapist where I was talking to her about how to feel emotional again, because I didn't think I was feeling any emotions. Like, nothing made me sad, nothing pissed me off, nothing hurt my feelings, nothing made me particularly happy, you know? And so I told her that, and then she told me to start, like, writing down whenever I felt any emotion, which is hard when you have ADHD because you don't want to do that. But I started doing that, and I realized that I still feel emotions. They're just not as intense as they used to be. And we love a good porn bot. I hit her, though. Let's see if she comes back. But I do still feel like I'm not very emotional. Like, for example, my dad has pancreatic cancer for the past 6 months, and I've been in California and here just helping them, and I've cried twice over my dad, you know, which is weird, and my husband's freaked out about it, but I'm not that upset about it because I was able to help my family so much since I was mentally stable, and I'm the most mentally stable in my family. So I'm just grateful that I was able to keep it together and help my family. Even though I do feel like I'm not as emotional. And sometimes I miss being super hyper emotional, like feeling that crazy, like euphoric feeling or crazy depression feeling, like that you all probably know what I'm talking about. But as much as I miss that feeling, I feel like it's better to not have crazy anxiety, you know, and not have crazy depression. And when I do feel something, like at all, I can like realize I feel it, and then I try to really focus on that feeling and try to feel it, like instead of like kicking it off and like putting it off, which is what I used to do, you know, trying to not feel anything. So yeah, I worked with my therapist to like be more comfortable with feelings, and she made me realize that I am in fact emotional, just not like I used to be. But I totally get the emotional numbing. It kind of sucks, but it helps if your family's in crisis and you need to save everyone's life, I will say. Do you think managing your sleep helped you with the feeling numb gone fishing? No. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like all my emotions are numb. Like right now, I wouldn't say I'm happy, but I'm having a good time talking with y'all. No, I think I'm happy. Yeah. But I get the emotional numbness thing because it's hard for me to identify if I'm feeling a feeling. Like, for example, like other people would have flipped out if the gaming account that they've been working on for 8 years got robbed. And like I was just like, oh, this sucks. And then I just started streaming and, like I didn't flip out. Now this is like sounds stupid, but yeah. Like when I was really anxious and younger, like if I dropped, oh my god, no, I know I sound like a valley girl. I get comments being like, you stupid bitch, why do you sound like that? And I'm like, I was literally just like in my community, we just talk like this. I'm sorry. Like I get some mean comments about my voice. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sound like this. Nothing to say. I do sound like a valley girl sometimes, but here we are. But people can be so rude about it. I get the mean comments I get are so funny. I don't get many, thankfully, but once in a while they'll be like, you sound so stupid, California girl. And I'm like, I mean, you're right. I am stupid, but whatever. What was I saying? Totally forgot. No, I know. I appreciate it. I forgot what I was talking about. That'll happen. What can you do? Yeah. What was I saying? I have no idea what I was saying. Johan, I've only tried concerta and Ritalin. So my doctor, it was the first one he suggested. I got on Ritalin. The first dose he gave me was like the lowest dose. I tried it, didn't do anything. The next day, he told me to up my dose and adjust it as I needed. So I increased it, and that was the first day that like my life changed. So when I increased it, I forgot what the dosage was. It was like 16 or 18 or something. My life changed. Like I went from doing something, like not doing anything at all, to doing something I'd been putting off for 2 years at work. I just did it and I sent it over. It was wild. But then I realized that stopped working as long as I wanted it to. Like it stopped working after 3 hours. So I went back to my doctor and I was like, hey, like I really, like the effects of it are really good. Like it really is helping my life, but it's not lasting long enough. And at that point, he switched me to Concerta, which is the long-acting extended release version of methylphenidate. Like it's a special pill that comes in a special coating that will release slowly in your body over time. And I found that functioned a lot better for me. So I was on 36 milligrams of Concerta, and I increased to 56 milligrams. I originally thought that my tolerance had built up, but now I think that I was just going through a really tough time and my environment changed, and so my stress changed, and so my medication wasn't working as well anymore because of that, not because of tolerance issues. So that's why I decided to increase to 56 milligrams. Yeah. Oh, really, Johan? So you're on 20 milligram and started taking 40 milligrams. Do you take it once a day or 2 days? Of course, Cartoon Mark. Thank you so much for your comment. Johan, did you say, so you haven't noticed any improvement, 40 milligrams? I would say it's kind of discreet. It's not like you get high. It's kind of just like you just randomly do the dishes, Like, it's not like you're like, it's just like you just randomly, like, actually fold your laundry or something. So it's not supposed to be some, like, crazy thing. It's just, or you suddenly find yourself remembering something. It's really weird. Yeah, I don't know. Once a day with your first meal. Okay. Yeah, I would talk to your doctor about that. Ritalin is a different, like, main ingredient than, like, Adderall or Vyvanse. Adderall is something else. Like, Ritalin and Concerta are methylphenidate. Well, Adderall is something else. So maybe a different drug would work better in your biologic system, your body, than something like that. Like I might try Adderall one day and that might not work well for me compared to Ritalin, What are the main side effects or like symptoms that you're trying to correct, Johan? Hi, Ashlyn. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. And I wasn't the only one here. Yeah. Oh my god, the eating thing is a whole different thing. I could talk about eating on stimulants for a whole video, because yeah, the whole food and eating and maintaining weight and losing weight on stimulants is a whole beast on its own. So I agree with that, gone fishing. Eat first or you'll be hangry, not hungry. Though I do not eat breakfast, actually. Hey Mayhan, that's an interesting point. I personally have never done magic mushrooms. Not because, like, I did all the drugs, obviously, but I was literally so terrified about what was in my mind already, like my depression and anxiety, that I was terrified of what I would hallucinate on magic mushrooms. And so I never tried them. I would be open to microdosing magic mushrooms with a doctor, with a psychiatrist, if they recommended it to me as an option. I would not want to do it alone or with friends because, again, my mind can go some dark places, and I don't trust my mind on its own to do that in a healthy way. So I would be open to microdosing magic mushrooms because I know that there's studies that have shown that it helps people, if I was my psychiatrist. And that's good to know, Johan. Yeah, I mean, I think 40 milligrams is a pretty decent dose as it is. It is interesting that they're only making you take it once a day because Ritalin will only last, like, again, a few hours. So it'll wear off by the time the afternoon or something. Thank you so much, Gone Fishing. I really, really appreciate it. I probably won't be on much longer, actually. I have to go pick up my husband. But I really appreciate everyone who's come because it makes me feel less alone. But yeah, are you talking with your doctor about increasing doses, Johan? And yeah, again, it might be worth thinking about switching medications because, again, it'll have a different active ingredient. Mayhan, can I ask why you asked about the magic mushrooms? I am curious. Bye. But yeah, I don't know. Y'all, also, I'm sorry if I keep sniffling or making gross noises. I have a cold. And yes, we love that. Bye, I hope work goes well. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people feel Ritalin by 40 milligrams, so that's interesting. Do you feel like nothing has changed at all? And what side effects were you hoping it changed? I guess that's also my question. And for anyone who's still here, like, you can definitely add me on Instagram and DM me if you want to talk, or comment on my videos because I always watch them. Okay, Mayhan, and how did that go for you? Do you not like it? Is there a reason you stopped it, or do you think it's working for you? And what made you ask about magic mushrooms? I'm just curious about that. I actually got a lot of bots like promoting magic mushrooms on my chat, and I usually delete that because I don't want people clicking on it and just ending up on a weird website without their physician helping them, you know? My husband does magic mushrooms every once in a while, and he says it really helps him. But again, I think my brain's very dark, and so I'm not going to do that alone, you know? Let's see. Yeah, Johan, I think that's really important to be patient. It did take me about a month and a half, I would say, to find the right dose. And for some people, it takes even longer, you know? Yeah, okay. Yeah, hopefully it helps. I mean, those drugs are supposed to stimulate the right chemicals in your brain to make you feel like a normal person, I guess. Yeah, I have binge eating issues, not in an ED kind of way, just because on the stimulant I forget to eat, and so then I'll get really hungry later and I'll eat a lot. So I have lunch and dinner typically because I'm not hungry in the morning. Sleep issues, I feel that. I still have sleep issues on ADHD in that I don't have good sleep. Before I was medicated, I would sleep like 15 hours a day. And Robert, yeah, dude, I'm glad that I did not do it because I had a feeling that I would have something horrible happen to me. And that's why I never did like really bad drugs. I'm so glad I had the thought that like, wow, I have a dark brain, and so we're not going to do ecstasy, we're not going to do any kind of like downer or hallucinogenic because your girl's going to end up with some crazy thoughts and we're going to be in trouble. So I never tried anything like too deep in drugs. So I'm grateful for that I, even at like 14 and 15, I had that knowledge about myself. Robert, I hope you're able to recover from that because I know a lot of people can be affected by their trips for a long time, you know? So yeah, that's tough. Okay, I'm actually gonna hop off because I need to go pick up my husband from a bar. He was at an event. I didn't go because I was sick, but I want to thank you all for joining me. If you end up coming, or if you end up having any other questions or anything like that, definitely reach out to me and maybe I'll do a live soon, you know? But I really appreciated everyone who came because I really thought I was just going to be here chatting to myself, playing my RuneScape game, and I didn't. But Robert, yeah, thank you. I'm so sorry to hear that you had a hell. But maybe your comment here helped other people who were considering doing one without a doctor. So I appreciate you letting us know about your trip. Thanks everyone. Goodbye.